Evening incense.
This is the brief on Numbers chapter 15. So right after a massive failure at Kadesh Barnea, Yahweh didn't give up on the Israelites. Instead, he gave the next generation hope for the Promised Land with a super specific, future-focused blueprint for how they'd worship once they finally arrived. So what exactly did this divine blueprint for worship look like? Well, first, God set up a totally proportional system for sacrifices. There were 3 main animal offerings: the lamb, the ram, and the young bull. You can kind of think of this like scaling up a recipe. The larger the main course, like a bull instead of a lamb, the larger the side dishes of fine flour, olive oil, and wine needed to be. Second, the instructions demanded really precise measurements and absolute purity. The text uses standard biblical units, like the Ephah, a dry measure of about 22 liters, and the Hin, a liquid measure of roughly 3.7 liters. But hey, this wasn't just some ancient math lesson. God specifically required somaleth, the absolute most finely sifted, pure flour, and the very first portion of every single batch of dough. He wanted the finest and first of their harvest, definitely not just the leftovers. Finally, these exact rules applied to absolutely everyone, native-born Israelites and resident foreigners alike. It's wild because this leaves literally zero room for human imagination or personal tradition. True worship is defined entirely by God's explicit command, not human preference. Ultimately, whether through exact measurements or perfectly sifted flour, Yahweh absolutely deserves our purest, finest, and first fruits in worship, exactly as he asks.